Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing an audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on the OSL Tiebreaker. This is the matchup between July and Bisu. This is game 1. It's gonna be sudden death here, folks. First player to 2 victories progresses through to the next round. And these two guys are obviously firm favorites. Bisu's Protoss versus Protoss is something that you would want to write home about. July, on the other hand, I would have put him as a sure bet for progressing past Much in the previous matchup, but unfortunately Much managed to surprise July on the same map that these two guys are playing on nonetheless, Medusa, and catch him off guard with the cannon rush, take the lead, and press home an aggressive strategy that the God of War just had trouble dealing with. I think usually July is just used to his opponents cowering in his presence and backing off and responding to him, whereas Much really played July the only way you can. You've just got to be more insane than July is to try and beat him. You've just got to go in there with the frenzy, allow July to hurt you as much as he can, and somehow hope that you end up standing and that the behemoth lies at your feet. But usually it's the other way around. Looks like we've got Bisu in Protoss in red, starting up at the 2 o'clock position. July looks like he's at the 11 o'clock position, playing Zerg in purple. Looks like his overlord is scouting in the wrong direction, scouting southwards. This is a 3-player map, however, and that does make for lots of interesting variations. July, I think, will be very much aware of that ramp behind his base. I don't think he's going to get caught off guard. It'll just be interesting to see how much headology is going on here and how Much's play and aggression will affect July's play. Normally, we see July being the aggressor, and he has been very effective in that. Bisu sending out a probe. Looks like he's probably going to set a pylon down outside his natural export. He's just sending out a very early scout before even putting the pylon down. I would find it surprising if he doesn't. Maybe he's going for some cheese. He has seen that be effective against July previously, but obviously a lot of it depends on July being unaware on the probe getting in the right direction and getting that first pylon down. We're just looking at some fan signs here, but yeah, there's going to be a lot of mental tactics here. There's going to be a lot of strategy and tactics. And it looks like Bisu has just put that pylon down at his natural expo, so he might actually just be looking to expand and perhaps even try and use the Bisu build. July has been very effective against Bisu of late. In the last few matches they played together that I've watched, July has come up trumps, and generally I feel that July's play versus Protoss has been solid, to say the least. July's overall is probably going to pass that probe heading north, but I don't think that's going to give them. That might even mislead July to think that Bisu's base is indeed in the south. It'll be really, really interesting to see what sort of strategy these two players come up with. July taking no risk this time, putting down the spawning pool first. Meanwhile, Bisu putting the forge down, and this might play right into July as well. Actually, Bisu's going to get the scout off, so Bisu's just started that forge off. He's going to see the spawning pool, and he's going to... And July mining gas as well, so July could be in a little bit of trouble here, because Bisu is going to be in a good position to defend against this. Bisu's is going to come in and see exactly what July is doing. Bisu's got the forge up, he's going to put the cannons down, and he's going to be in a strong position to defend against this. July going for the early links, and really with the scout in, July's not going to be able to effect a lot of damage, and Bisu should have the economic advantage and should be able to press that home later on against July. And it's just going to be down to see what July does, whether he perhaps can pressurize Bisu with those 6 Zerglings enough to try and nullify some of the economic advantage that Bisu should gain from this maneuver, and whether we will see July being forced to play his usual... well, I suppose it's not really difficult for a player of July's caliber, and Bisu with the 1 cannon only and the Nexus going down, so Bisu obviously feeling comfortable enough. July needs to really try and force him. I don't think he's going to be able to maybe expend resources on a 2nd cannon, and Bisu... I feel Bisu's pulled that probe out, Zergling's just chasing it around, but Bisu now putting the 2nd cannon down after the Nexus, clearly feeling he had enough time to be able to do that once he had the scout, and July obviously is going to respond straight away by taking his natural expo as well. The real question is going to be if July is going to switch to, as I was suggesting, his 2-hash lair play, because I think that's really the only option for July here. He's got to perhaps switch for that, go for some sort of an attack, and try and finish Bisu off before Bisu can really get the harvest from his economic advantage, and really it's just the starting builds that the two players have decided, and the question has to be asked, how much did what Much do to July in the previous game lead to July making this decision in terms of his starting build, lead to him putting the hatchery first? July's got a couple of things, and it looks like Bisu with another photon cannon, and what is he anticipating? He's put out another photon cannon. July being really clever here, trying to use a drone to sneak those Zerglings up behind the pyramid. If he can do that, he can sneak around to Bisu's main, and Bisu's got no protection in his main whatsoever, so this could be genius by July, and this is what maps like this do for, but they don't account for, what does this say for balance on this map? July so far hasn't been able to sneak any Zerglings through, and it looks like that attempt of his might actually fail. I thought he was going to just take his natural expo. He has taken his natural expo as well, but he hasn't been able to, he's only been able to get the 1 single Zergling through, and I feel that even though he is trying to do this, the amount of time he's expending in it's just too long, He really needed to get a couple more of the Zerglings up there sooner. He's managed to, I think, sneak one more Zergling up. He's managed to sneak 2 Zerglings in. Meanwhile, Bisu trying to scout again, and looks like July is going to pull away. Bisu looks like he's scouting that ramp above his base as well. He set a pylon down as well. He's got a probe there, so July is going to spot. July's just got a couple of Zerglings there, and those Zerglings are going to get spotted. So Bisu looks like he did anticipate July trying to do something of that sort, trying to sneak in and maybe set up a proxy or something. July's overlord not coming into Bisu's base, and Bisu started up his cybernetic score as well. July trying to get some more Zerglings in through the rear. He's actually now killing the pyramid there for some reason. I don't fully understand the tactics of doing that and why July might be looking to destroy that, whether that's actually going to allow him. And July's actually now sneaked into Bisu's main. Bisu building a photon cannon. July with the 2 Zerglings managed to kill 1 probe. Obviously not really enough to do any significant damage. Bisu starting up the Stargate. So July doing minor damage to Bisu's economy, more harassment than anything else. But keep in mind, he had to expend the 1 drone that he sent out to try and get those Zerglings up there. So even if he's killed one probe, that doesn't really give him much of an advantage. And Bisu now with the Zealot out, ready to defend. July's put the Hydralisk Den down. He's got a couple of Hydralisks out. He's operating on the 1 gas right now. Bisu's Stargate should be popping up soon anytime now. July continue to hammer away at that pyramid. I think if you do manage to take it out, that allows you to possibly go up that ramp, and maybe that's why July is hammering away at that pyramid with his 6 Zerglings. I think this is a clever tactic by July, because if he can force Bisu to expend resources, which he already has in putting that 1 photon cannon down in his main, and expend more resources, that's going to slow Bisu down in terms of his tech. Bisu with a 4th photon cannon down, now going at his natural expo, and that's very interesting, and I think perhaps the purpose of those 2 Zerglings that July has done. July's Zerglings are out of range of the photon cannon. He's managed to snipe another probe. The photon cannons in Bisu's natural expo obviously not positioned for an attack from the rear. Bisu not at all anticipating that from July, and July managed to kill another probe with those 2 Zerglings. He's been very effective. Now July's sending about 6 Hydralisks down. He doesn't have any lurkers, but Bisu's front door is well defended. Bisu really expending a lot in terms of photon cannons. But July, I'm just wondering, I haven't seen this happen on this map before, where someone's taking that pyramid down. Bisu has now seen that pyramid is going to get taken down by July. Bisu's not going to have any time to set up any defenses there, if indeed July can actually get up there once the pyramid is destroyed. I think the pyramid has been destroyed. It's very interesting whether that reveals a map which will allow July